One of the number one reasons why women struggle with dating and relationships today is that they choose men who are not ready for anything real. Ladies, there are lots of great relationship-ready men out here. However, you need to learn how to choose them. I wrote this book to teach you how to do just that. Get your copy of Choose Well, a simple formula to determine the best man for you on Amazon today. Good evening, hello. All right, we are going to get started. We're going to jump into tonight's live. I actually have a very special guest joining me. His name is Big L, and his platform is Big with 2 G's, LPHD on YouTube. So we are going to have a wonderful conversation tonight. We're going to hear from another gentleman. You all know how I do it. I have the gentleman on my platform because number one, the ladies requested. Y'all want to hear from the gentleman. And number two, I want to feature or showcase male platforms. There are a lot of great new male platforms out there. And I want to introduce men and women to these gentlemen because they are talking about some great stuff. They're giving some great advice. And I've already told the gentleman on my platform, 60% of the people on my platform are male. Technically, my platform is for women. So I've been trying to get rid of y'all for a while. I've been trying to get rid of y'all. Okay. All right. Let's see. I'm going to see if I can add him. And he may need to. Okay. Big L, you may have to request to join. So you're going to hit that little camera at the bottom with the plus sign. For some reason, it will not let me add you. It will not let me. No, I don't want to do that. It will not let me. Let me see it. Let me go this route. No. That's turning off my camera. Okay. So, Big L, if you could, you're going to hit that camera at the bottom right beside where it says comment. You're going to request to be in the video because for some reason it will not. Thank you, Garland, for buying a badge. It will not let me add you. Good evening. Okay, he said he's on his laptop. That might have something to do with it. Yeah, it will not let me add him. That is weird. Remove pin. Huh. That is weird. Because I thought I could just hit his name and it would let me add him, but it is not. Oh, wait, hold on a second. There we go. Oh, Lord. Y'all, can I keep it 100? This what happened when you get people over 50. When you get people over 50 and they trying to use Instagram and they trying to use the iPhone. Like, I'm going to be honest. I don't know everything my iPhone can do. Every other week, my daughter is like, yeah, you can do X, Y, and Z, and you can do this. And I'm like, it can? For real? I kid y'all not. I don't know everything the phone can do. Okay. All right. He said he might be joining us from the phone, but I sent an invite. So I sent an invite to him. And when he jumps on, he can join from his phone. Now, y'all, we're going to be taking questions. We're going to be doing Q&A tonight at the end of our discussion. And so please get your questions ready. The little question, the little bubble with the question mark in it. Please get your questions ready if you have any. Okay, hold on. I'm going to try to, there we go. We're going to try to get him in here. Okay, yeah, she said you can't do lives from laptops, has to be from a phone. Okay, so yeah, I mean, the only way I do my lives is from a phone. That's the other thing. My daughter told me, oh, you can do lives, from your laptop. I was like, what? So, yeah, okay, yeah, he getting it, y'all. There we go. There we go.
More technology, boy.
Yeah, but this what I told people. I said, I'm sorry, I own it. People over 50, like, it's a whole lot of stuff that, I don't even know what the phone do. And I'm all right. I'm going to work it out. I'm going to be okay. How are you doing tonight, Big L?
I'm good.
Good.
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Okay. All right. So y'all get your questions ready. We will answer questions live at the end of our discussion. If you have any questions for Big L or me, this is a great time for you to ask those questions. Use that little bubble that has the question mark in it. Okay. Some of you are going to put your questions in the chat, and I'm going to do my best to try to get them off of the chat. Okay. Garland said, y'all got too much wisdom. Yeah, we have we have a total of 107 years of wisdom. 107 years sitting in front of you right now. Okay. So don't beat us up too bad. Hey, she said, hey. All right. So Big L, introduce yourself to my platform. Tell me a little more about yourself. Tell me about your platform. Tell me what made you start your platform.
All right. Well, thanks once again for having me. I really, really appreciate it. So I'm a retired police officer from Connecticut, and I did 24 years in the PD. I retired at good standings. I got to tell people that now because they think everybody gets fired and all kind of stuff. So I retired at good standing. I retired at the rank of captain, and when I retired, I started a podcast called Captain Hunter's Podcast, and I wanted to talk about a range of different things, mostly talking about police stuff, police and community issues. And from there, it kind of, I want to talk about a range of stuff. So people told me I was talking about too much stuff, right? It's all over the place, right? But maybe I saw myself as a radio host or something. I don't know. I want to talk about a lot of different things. So from there, I branched off and I started a different podcast called LMH Consulting Services, where I talk mostly about police stuff there. And then in October, just recently, I actually completed my doctorate. So I want to talk about my experiences going through the doctoral program, particularly as an older guy. What was that like? So from there, I started talking about, different things and start talking about more of affirmation type of stuff, right? You can do it, positive type of stuff from there. And then people really start to pick up on that. So they don't want to hear about the doctorate stuff. They want to hear about the positive stuff. And so from there, I talked once or twice about some relationship stuff, and it really kind of skyrocketed from there. So that's kind of the genesis as to where it all comes from. I'm not trying to be a big head with the PhD. I just want to talk about my PhD journey. And from there, people just started picking up on other stuff. So I don't really mess with Captain Hunter's podcast anymore. I'm kind of leaving that behind. But I do a lot of stuff with the LMH consulting services. So if you want police stuff, that's where to go for that. But the other stuff, as far as the relationship stuff, which I'm going to get more into, and into just self-help improvement, life coaching stuff, that's all in BiggLPHD. I am a certified life coach as well.
Okay. Okay. Do you have a specific, I guess, population? Do you want to work with men or women or both?
Yeah, I'd like to work with men, particularly younger men, 35 and under. I think that they need a lot of help, and those have been that population has really been reaching out, really receptive, and they're thanking me a lot for that. Calling me uncle and all this kind of stuff, so which is great. But I think that it's definitely needed. I grew up without a father, but I had good, strong people around me. I had uncles, and the church that I went to had a lot of deacons. And so I had a lot of positive influence, even though I was a product of a single mother home.
Okay.
I'm gonna give back.
All right. Good. Good. And so you have a YouTube channel, and it is BiggLPHD, correct? Okay.
Correct. Yes.
So you talk about a variety of things over there, but you are getting into kind of the life coaching space. You're talking more about relationships, which I think is really important. And you'd love to work with men, under 35. That is actually a great target audience. I believe those men definitely need an uncle, a father figure, and especially someone who's kind of walked the talk, who's lived a whole life, right? You've lived a whole life. Have you been married before?
Yeah, I was married twice, actually.
Okay. So see, you have experience in that, and
a
you've had a career. So yeah. Okay, good. All right, let's jump in. What does the average Black man today think about women? When you think about women, and this is from your perspective, maybe other men that you've talked to, what do they think about women?
I think that times have changed so much that we don't know what to think. I think we're really in a state of flux, and in confusion and trying to figure out our role today as what women want from us.
Right.
Traditionally, men were the providers and protectors. And now there's been, I don't know if you've heard about it, but there's this idea going around that women don't need no man and that they are strong and independent and they are not in need of any help or assistance. I myself have gone and, just being a nice person, held the door open for people I don't even know. And they would tell me, I don't need you to hold the door open for me. Why do you think I need you to hold the door open for me? So men are trying to figure out what their space is in America. I would say in America, Western countries, what is our role anymore? What are we supposed to be doing? We're supposed to be holding doors? Should we be paying for first dates? Should we be waiting for you to ask us out? Should we be going 50-50? So I think there's a lot of confusion.
Yeah. Yeah. And I agree with that, especially for, like you said, men under 30. So I want to believe that men over 30, 35, 40, they, I think they do, are relying on their past role. And don't get me wrong, it's not to say that men over 40, they may also be confused because they're thinking, okay, I was raised to be chivalrous. I was raised to be a gentleman. And now modern day women are saying, don't do that or don't be that or yeah. But definitely younger men. I think younger men, like I have younger men calling themselves feminists. And I'm like, okay. like I don't even know how to respond to that. Like, uh-huh.
Well, I think that we were raised to be that way. I think that, I'm Gen X. I think I was raised to be that way.
Yeah.
I think we were raised to think to think a certain way that everybody could do it. We're all the same. We're all equal. I don't think that this is something within the last 10 to 15 years. I think I can recall stuff like this when I was in high school, right? In an early college, right? So I think it was even when I joined the PD, which was very vastly a male-dominated space. We had trainings about this, right? This is the way we got to be. We can't discriminate. In the PD, when you there's the class sergeant for a police academy. They always try to pick a woman. They always try to pick a woman to be the class sergeant or spokesperson for the class. So they try to get men to get used to female leadership.
Right.
And this was I went to the police academy in 1995. So this is not new. This is not new.
Okay. And so when you think about a young man or a man coming to you and saying he's a feminist, what's your first thought about that?
I would ask him what he means by that. Where did he get that from? And I would try to probe into his ideology about that. And so just try to figure out what they mean by that.
Right.
And so when I hear the term feminist, and as I mentioned, we were kind of raised to be that way. I think that it's right and it's okay that if a woman is doing the same job as a man, that they get paid the same. Right. Because before that, that wasn't the case. And I think there was pretty good reason for that, right? If the men were supposed to be providers, then okay, then you got to give men the ability to provide.
That's
but
right.
Then the ladies kind of bucked up against that back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, whatever, and said we want to get paid the same amount, same work, and all that. Okay, but don't ask me to lift the heavy cooler water to replace the cooler, right. which has been asked of me. Well, wait a minute.
Yeah. And so everyone here knows they know my thoughts about this, that, and even women in feminist spaces, every now and again, I find myself in a feminist space or a left, liberal, a radical left liberal space. And they know my thoughts about this, that I am not feminist. I don't consider myself a believer in feminism. I believe in gender equality. Those things are different in my mind. So Feminism Today is in its almost fourth wave. This year will probably land it in its fourth wave. And it is no longer about gender equality. And gender equality for me basically says, just as you stated, that opportunity should be made available across the board. So the same opportunities men have, women should have. That to me is gender equality. Now, this is what we leave out. Most women don't want to do what most men do. That's called nature. That's called evolutionary psychology. So women are saying, okay, but we still want the opportunity. And for that, I agree. I agree. You should still have the same opportunity to do what men do. But what I want women to understand is we also want to give the same amount of respect to nature, to the nature differences between men and women. Because most of the jobs, the dangerous jobs that men have, women don't want. Okay? So again, how equal is that? We say we want gender equality, but 90% of the offshoremen, 98% of the offshoremen are male, right?
Yeah.
95% of, dangerous professions are male.
Right.
So, okay, yeah, well, I just want the opportunity. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's, I talk quite a bit about that.
So
And yeah, I don't disagree that they should have the opportunity, but they also have to recognize that their nature says, no, I don't want to do that.
yeah, so that's often been talked about in these type of man spaces is that opportunity, and exactly what you said, that they don't want to do certain jobs. It's all fine for when you're fighting for equality to be the CEO of a company
Right.
or to have a middle managers in a company. That's fine. But yeah, the oil riggers and the crab fishers and the deep sea divers
Yep.
and the guys who jump out of airplanes to jump in the middle of
Yep.
fires to fight the forest fires. They, somehow that seems to get left out of the conversation. So
Exactly.
even
Exactly.
the police department, right? So there's this initiative going on around 20. It's called 30 by 30. They want 30% of law enforcement to be females by the year 2030. Well, why not shoot for 50-50?
Right.
I mean, so this is this and listen, I have no problem. I think that ladies can do a fine job in any job that they want. But
Mhm.
let's just be honest about what we're talking about here. We're talking about mostly nice air conditioned jobs in which papers are being pushed, and the most dangerous activities is avoiding paper cuts. That's what we're talking about.
Right. Right. Well, I dated a gentleman who was a firefighter. Everyone knows, like I said, nothing I say tonight is going to shock people. I've said this publicly before. And like I said, I've been in some pretty radical left spaces where people's mouths fell open when I spoke. I dated a firefighter many years back. And one of the things I found so interesting was, they're at a fire station 24 hours. They have these 24-hour shifts, and then they go home for a day or two or three, and then they come back. And so he's 6'4", 225. When I went and visited him at the fire station, there was a white lady named Jenny, and she was 5'5". She was shorter than me. She was 5'5". She may have been a $130, a $125. And I said, what's up? And he was like, yeah, that's Jenny. She's one of the firefighters. And I said, okay, so help me to understand. You all go into a fire, things get crazy. One of the males in the company goes down. You expect me to believe that she is going to carry you out? And he was like, he just went
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
it
and
ain't happening.
and
Can we
and
be honest? It ain't happening. That's my
yeah,
issue. That's my issue. We're allowing women into spaces that, in my personal opinion, could cause damage, could cause harm, right, to the other members of that space. If she's not able to do the job the same way a male could do the job, to me, she shouldn't have the job. That's me. Okay?
yeah,
Because yeah, like we got to be honest. If they all went in and the building's coming down, and one of our own got caught, got his leg caught, and we got to try to drag him out or carry him out. Let's say he got knocked out, and we have to carry him out. She's not carrying any of those men out. She's leaving. She's leaving, but she's not carrying those men out. Like, we got to be
yeah,
real about that. So that's my issue. That's my issue. We're allowing women into spaces where they can't do the job. Like, you can't do the job. To me, that's a problem. That's a problem. I have some very, I have some very, some people say wild thoughts about even female police officers, because You know,
I,
I'm just like, really?
I don't know what they are, but I don't think that they're wild. I think most people just don't speak them.
Right. Like, you sure? You sure you want to show up in this situation? You sure? 'Cause- and then again, it just makes me wonder, are we putting the other people in this job at risk? Like, that's a real thing. Are other people in this job at risk? So that's it. I just want people that can do the job. Now, here's what I heard through the grapevine, because I have a lot of family members who are in the military. I heard through the grapevine that once they were starting to allow women on the front line and women to fight and all of that, that they changed the PT standard. And I was like, that's interesting because, I thought we are all the same. Why would the PT standard change? Why would
As
the,
in, as in lowered the PT, as in lowered the PT standards.
mhm.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that's what I have a problem with. That's what,
yeah, yeah. I didn't hear that one, but I did hear. I've watched a few things about supposedly like there's been like three ladies who passed Army Ranger training, specialized operative training, and the people who done the training said there's no way that the ladies actually passed. So I don't know, but that's disappointing, and I'll just leave it
Yeah.
off there.
Yeah.
I,
Like they
I
know,
share
they
your
know, they
I
know
share your
my radical
concern.
views. Everybody here know my radical views.
I share
Okay, like
your concern.
that's my concern. My concern is, are they putting the other members of the team at risk? And again, we're trying to be so woke and so, we're all the same, and we've got to give everybody. Okay, I get it, but like you just said, 30%. They're saying so. They're pushing for something. So in other words, they're not adhering to, can you do the job? They're pushing for this. We got to have 30%. So whether the woman can do the job or not, we just got to have the 30%. That's what concerns me. That's what's
Yeah,
concerning
yeah,
me, is that they're pushing this. We just got to have 30% female, right? Forget if these women can do the job. Forget if, forget that. And for
yeah,
me, it's, can you do the job? Can you pass whatever the standard is that's given to men and women across the board? That's what I care about. So that is alarming. Like, that's alarming to me, because I'm like we are just, that's like saying, we're going to accept this person in because of color. I could even say that. Oh, forget whether they can do the job or not. We just need X amount of people to be this color. That's
yeah,
disturbing to me. Like, can we just get people who can do the job well? That's it. Like,
yeah.
whatever that happens to be, can we do that? Like, that's it. And guess what? There will be male dominated spaces. And since when is that a bad thing? Since when is a space being male dominated bad or wrong?
Yeah, and there will be female dominant spaces as well. So,
Exactly.
so but I do
Exactly.
find here's what I find to be very very ironic. It seems to be that there's always a push to invade male space, and whether it's jobs or golf clubs
Yep.
or
Yep.
cigar bars or whatever.
Yep.
There's and I just that seems very funny to me that there's always this idea to join those spaces. But I definitely agree with you. Listen, we just want people to go do the job. If I get knocked out, I want to know that somebody can carry me out, male or
That's
female.
it.
I just want to know that somebody can do the job. And yes, to your coworkers, you want to be able to. I can tell you, having been in those positions, when you look to your right or to your left, you want a competent individual.
That's it.
And sometimes
That's
when I was calling the shots as a shot. But when I was
it.
calling what we're going to do as a sergeant, a supervisor, I'm like, okay, I knew the people around me. I'm like, okay, you're going to take up this post. You're going to do this. You and I, we're going in here. This is what we're going to do,
Right.
right? So you have to be very, very mindful of that. And I don't want that pause to be there for
Right.
police officers, for firefighters when we got to go
Yep.
in there and get people, for construction workers when we need this big heavy thing lifted up. I don't want it for our military personnel. We want competent individuals, period.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Garland Stillwell, he bought a badge. He says, non-political observation to Anita's comment. Part of the discussion about Secret Service DEI initiatives is that the women officers are too short to protect their assets. This was highlighted yesterday. Interesting. Like I said,
Yeah,
like I said,
I saw
I,
it.
I get a lot of
I
hate, and
saw that. I saw that.
but
But
again,
this is, yeah, I wonder. But this is, yes, and I think that was phrased correctly. It's the DEI initiative. Nobody wants to be seen as the bigot. Nobody wants
right?
to be seen as the person who's saying, "Hey, listen, there's an issue here." When the president, what is Donald Trump, 6'2", 6'3",
Yep,
something like that, and you got
yep,
someone who's 5, whatever they
yep,
are, unable to do it. And but she's on the detail, and she's
yep,
prominent in many of the
yep,
pictures that were there.
yep.
And so,
I saw
if
it.
I'm
Yeah, the little lady.
if
Yeah,
I'm
I saw it. So I
if
was
I'm
thinking again. I was like,
yeah.
wait, wait.
But nobody could. A lot of people can't say anything. We sit in these
Mm,
trainings and listen. As one who sat there, and we're looking at each other like, "What are we talking
yeah,
about? Are
what
we?
is
Are we
happening?
really? Who's going to say this? Who's going to say it out loud? Right?
Yes.
And who's going to
Anita's
have to
going.
go
I'm gonna
THR
say it.
on
I'm gonna
your
say it out
table?
loud. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it because I was thinking it. Like, what is happening? Why is this
Yeah. No, it was happening. It was happening. It was happening.
Mm,
It was
mm,
definitely
mm. Okay. So, what are some of the struggles that Black men have today when dating that you hear about, that you've experienced? What is their experience really like?
happening. Okay, so that's good. So, somebody asked a question. We're live on YouTube. We're not
No,
on
we
YouTube
are
as well, are we?
not. This will be reposted to YouTube. Yeah, we got to repost it.
Um, So, what are the difficulties that are happening right now? Well, part of it is what I said about men not knowing their role or their place.
Mhm.
Should we invite the ladies out? I saw one video where a guy was being proposed to by his girlfriend. She had gotten down on one knee. Are we supposed to pay for dates? Are we, is it insulting? What do we get for what we are offering? I'm offering protection, provision, and all this type of stuff.
Right.
What is my role if that's being taken away from me? What is my role to you? So I think
Yeah.
that men are really, really struggling to figure out, what their place is and what the purpose is. And I know a lot of ladies are now saying they want somebody who's emotionally available.
Right.
So now we've gone from, this protector provider pit bull to a poodle who's just there to be something completely different.
Yeah.
So I think that really that is a big complex that men don't understand, or not understanding the role and having difficulty figuring out what that is.
Oh.
I think another role is some of the difficulties that I've had is the whole dating scene, full of ghosting, leaving people on red and
Mm,
joking about it. I didn't
mm,
answer this guy's text or whatever, right? The games that are played within text messages. We
right.
know, I seriously doubt that anybody's not looking at their phone for 5 and 6 hours.
Right.
I just don't believe, unless you're a deep sea diver,
Yeah.
you're looking at your phone for 5 and 6 hours. So
Yep.
you're not responding to people in the same day, a couple of hours, and they're doing it. And this is being taught by people saying this is a good thing. Show them that you're busy. Show her that you're busy.
Right.
All this type of thing. Right? A lot of game playing.
Yeah.
And for people who think that, and I've talked to people who are married right now, in my age cohort, who are married, and even people a little bit older. Like, what's wrong with you guys? Just to find somebody, just marry them, just to make it work. I'm like, you have no
No idea.
idea. I was married,
You have no idea.
I was married for 18 years.
Mm-hmm.
Entering the dating scene again is completely. You think you're on a different planet.
Yep.
Everything is completely upside down.
Yeah.
You can whether you meet somebody at a restaurant, at a bar, at a comedy club, or you meet somebody on a dating app, right? There's the idea of ghosting people. Just stop talking to them.
Yep.
And I think that, and I'm actually going to do a post about this,
Mm-hmm.
is that it's really destroying people's self confidence.
Yeah.
I thought I was a pretty good dude. I have a job, and this,
Yeah.
that, and the other. And you end up getting ghosted. Like, what was wrong with me? And people are ghosting over the most silliest of ideas.
Right.
And so I think a lot of people self-conscious or are becoming self-conscious, and consequently, a lot of men are completely withdrawn.
Yeah.
They're calling it SYS, save yourself, black man. Men
Mm.
going their own way, mid-cow. They are going monk. Some people are going
Mm.
overseas to try to find what they are looking
Right.
for, and they just are completely frustrated with the dating scene as it exists. And I've experienced some of that. So it's not like, okay,
Wow.
this, whatever. right? So back in the days, back in my day, 20, 30, 40 years ago, right?
Yep.
So just having a job and being a good guy, right? You weren't on drugs,
Yeah.
you weren't, really in the down low. You had a job, you had a good paying job. That was enough to
Yeah.
secure somebody. But
Yeah.
now you gotta bring all these extra qualifications, right? Okay, you're gonna pay my rent within the first couple of weeks. Are you going to pay for my nails to get done on the first date, my
Yep.
hair to get done? I'm
Yep.
trying to make myself look pretty for you. I want you to expect this. If we go out to dinner, I'll buy extra food for my kids at home.
Yep.
All this type of stuff, right?
Yep.
That is going on, and that it's expectations
Right.
that people have. I can remember, and I don't want to keep talking here, but I can
Yeah.
remember when I was in the '90s. You met a nice young lady, right? If she didn't like the way that you dress, you'd be like, okay, you dress corny, but you're
Yeah.
nice. I'm gonna take you. We're gonna go shopping, and I'm gonna fix you
Yeah.
up. Now,
Yeah.
if you don't come completely put together, I don't
Yep.
like your clothes, your
Yep.
shoes. You're right. You got a brown belt and white shoes, right? You just all kind of stuff they don't want to talk to you anymore. So these are many of the difficulties that men are really trying to adjust to this completely changed environment. And a lot of that ties into, I think, that what the ladies have gone through. They bossed up, and now they want something completely that men aren't.
Right.
That men are not these days.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Brienne Nicole says social media has made a lot of women delusional. I agree.
yeah.
And remember, you all know how I feel about the phone. You know how I feel about the platforms. They are giving you access, more access than we have ever had. And as I told you all, back in the 80s, back in the 90s, who were my options? My options were the boys at my high school or college, the boys in my neighborhood. That's it. Okay? Like that's it. And maybe the boy at a rival school. Okay? It was not a man 3 states over. It was not a man in London. It was not a man in Australia. It was not no. And y'all think that these people all over the world that they're your option. They're not your option. They're not your option, baby. Find somebody in your neighborhood. Find somebody within 30 miles of where you live. Like that's your option. But they really
Yeah.
believe that the phone has them believing that this dude DMing them from Seattle, Washington, that's an option. That's not an option. Like it's insanity. I tell people all the time, like seriously, put your phone down. Just go out in your neighborhood, go out in your space. Those people are your option. People who are
And I
several
think,
states over, they're not your option.
yeah, so I think that it definitely has broadened the option dating pool, at least in the minds of ladies,
Yep.
while it's completely shrunk it for the
Right.
man. Right? The average man in America is what, 5'9" and makes roughly
Yep.
$50,000. Some say 60 and something along
Yep.
those lines. So
Yep.
that is an average guy. If you walk to the grocery store, this is what you're going to run into. But like you said, if you see a guy from Seattle, Washington, who's 6'3"
Right.
and making this amount of
Yep.
money, and you think that you, as I know a lot of times people don't like this numeric rating system for ladies, but if you're an average lady, a range of 5 or 6, you should be dating a 5'9" guy. He is your wheelhouse.
Yep.
You can build a nice life with him.
Yep.
But they think that he's too broke. His $60,000 is too broke. He's not tall enough. He doesn't have enough swag.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't have enough connection.
Yep.
So this is presented a great. This is why a lot of men are completely checking out of this dating field. Is that first of all, it's ridiculous what you're asking for. I'm not going to do all these things,
Right.
and I'm just gonna just do me. I'm gonna buy a video game, and I'm just gonna enjoy my life, or just travel or whatever.
Yep.
So they're completely checking out from this type of thing.
Mm. And that's dangerous. It's dangerous because, I'm asking myself what's going to happen 10 or 15 years from now, 20 years from now. If we got a large percentage of the male population, like you said, just checking out, what is going to happen? That's my concern.
I think that's a recipe for disaster if
Yeah.
men check out, right? Imagine guys, number one, they're not going to college in those numbers.
Yeah.
They don't see. You have to give men an incentive and a reward and a benefit. if a man doesn't have a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, why should I spend this amount of money going to college or getting a trade? Why should I do it? Okay,
Yes.
I can make the $45 and feed myself and live good in my mother's basement or in a one-bedroom apartment. I can
Right.
do it good. Right? The
Yeah.
reason that men have traditionally gone out there and hunted and faced the woolly mammoths and everything else that we've had to conquer and built the bridges and risked death in order to do so and fought the wars is because when we got home, when we got back from the wars, we had a nice, sweet, loving woman's
Yep.
embrace. That's why they were called the baby boomers after World War II, because everybody got home
Yep.
and the war's over and we can celebrate.
Yep.
That's what, and it was a boom in the population. So
That's right.
that's where they came from. So if you don't give men an incentive, you don't give them something to look forward to, then they won't look forward to anything. You'll have a nation that is falling down, right? Who's going to fix our roads? Who's going to go up on the power line? Who's going to fight the fires? Who's going to construct the bridges? Who's going to be wash the windows on the skyscraper? Who's going to do all this stuff?
Right.
Who's going to do that?
Exactly. And that is my concern. So what I always tell people is, I'm not necessarily concerned about me, because people ask that. Why are you so passionate about this? Why are you doing this? I said, no, I'm good, baby. I've been married. I have, had 13 loves in this life. I have 3 adult children. My life is good, right? It's not about me, but I do have 3 children. And when I think about them, when I think about my son, my daughters, what's going to happen? Who are they going to marry? Are they going to have families? That's when I start getting panicked. That's when I start getting concerned. When I think about my family's name dying out, like that's what concerns me. Anita's good. Like I tell people that all the time. Like, oh, I'm okay. I love life. Like life has been really good to me. It's not about me finding another husband. I would love that. That will always be my desire. But if it does not happen, God has blessed me with a fabulous life. But it is my children. It is my children that I'm now concerned about. And the thought of them never marrying or them never having children, that makes my blood run cold. Like my mom had 10 brothers and sisters. My dad has 17 brothers and sisters. Like that's family is all I know. And the thought of that ending with my children, like that is a problem. So that's why I'm doing this. Like that's why I'm doing this. It's not about me. It's about my children. It's about the other children that my children know, other kids that I've watched grow up all these years, all of their friends. Like we have got to turn this around. It's just not good. It's not good. Okay, so I'm gonna get a little go on the wild side. You ready? Do men
Okay.
prefer natural women? Or do men want the BBLs? Do they want all the hair? Do they want the nails? Do they want the lashes? What do men really want?
Well, I'm going to speak for black men.
Mm-hmm.
I think that I think that I have not. Let me put it this way: I have not met a man or any of the forums that I visit concerning black men where we like the fake hair, nails, BBLs, eyelashes, skin bleaching, any other thing. I don't know anybody who wants it. Excessive tattoos, I'll throw that in there as well.
Yep. Yep.
I don't know anyone who, I don't know a man who wants that. And again, I run in more professional circles, right? I teach at a couple of colleges and be in the police department, right? There's no way I can marry a girl who looked like that and then bring her to the mayor's ball. I just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
So I think that and I really have I want to go back for a second here to what you were talking about. I agree with you about the men, about the kids thing, right? My kids are adults as well, and I have a boy and a girl, and I have two stepsons as well, and I want them to have flourishing lives as well,
Right.
and I want them to experience family as well, and that just doesn't seem to be a priority, and that saddens me as well because
Yeah.
they go with some grandkids, and so
Yes.
it's. But I want them to be liable and all that. So I'm kind of concerned about that. So this idea about and I really think that women, I think that all black people really have some serious issues as far as inferiority complexes, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
But I think that is probably a little bit worse in the ladies, which is why they're throwing these things, these wigs and weaves and fake hair on their heads, and the amount of money that they're spending, and it's part of their regular routine, and they
Oh
can't leave
yeah.
the house without makeup,
Oh
skin bleaching.
look.
And I've done I've done shows, and I've done shows about this for Catherine Hunter's podcast. I had a woman who was of Somali descent.
Mm-hmm.
She was from Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
She came on my show and talked about how this is a big problem with the Somali population in Minnesota. They're all bleaching their skin. I've done shows with academics about the hair, and ironically, and I can't remember if I said this to her. I got to watch the show again, but I've noticed that most women that I see, well, not most women, the black women that I see who keep their hair natural tend to date white guys, and the women, and the women who, it's just, I mean, it's not all, but I've noticed that, and I've seen some who, the women who are more into black men, black women who are more into black men tend to wear the weaves more. And I think that they think that they are trying to appeal to the aesthetic that black men like. And I'm going to say this again.
Okay.
We are not being the Asian, white, Latino because of their hair or skin complexion.
Right.
It is because of their attitude, and yes, because of their weight. That is those are the two biggest problems that we need women to truly solve. Yes, black men are overweight. Yes, this is a dynamic that we really need to conquer as a race.
Right.
The reason that you see most black men who are dating white women, dating Latino women or Asian women, traveling overseas, is because they're going after more submissive, feminine, docile, cooperative women.
Right.
Notice I didn't say uneducated. They want them educated. We want smart women. Yes. We want strong women. Yes. But can you cooperate with me? Can you communicate with me? Can you talk to me like I am someone of importance, like you would talk to, as Kevin Samuel would say, as your boss? Talk to me as your boss. Talk to me the same way that you would talk to your boss. Don't come at me crazy. Talk to me like I'm your child. So if you can give me that type, and I guarantee if we could fix those two things and get our health under control, and something else, marriage, and I talked about this on my other platform, is marriage doesn't have the same health benefits that it does for white Americans. In other words, when a white couple gets married, they tend to live longer, and that doesn't translate to black folks. And I think, and the study didn't talk about why, but I think it's because we get together and we nourish and we compound our bad habits. So we get together, you eating fried chicken, I'm eating fried chicken, we're eating fried chicken together. We're not walking together. So that's where I think that the health translates. So, so if we get together, if you're into health, I'm into health, then we're going to live long. Like, there's nothing genetically wrong with us. It's a cultural aspect, a cultural problem that we need to solve.
And I agree with that. I always tell a lot of black friends that, especially in our age range, I have a couple of girlfriends that, they'll say, Anita, I'm over 50. It's too late. I'm like, too late for what? Like, for you to walk around the block? Too late. It's too late. I've given up. I've given up with trying to, get back to my college weight and all that. No one's saying that. But it is not too late for you to be healthy. It's not too late for you to walk, and it's not too late for you to eat right. It's not too late. And when it's too late for me, that's what I tell them. When it's too late for me? When y'all are closing that casket. Then it's too late. Okay. But as long as Anita's walking around breathing, Anita walked 3 miles this morning in 95-degree heat. Okay. In 95-degree heat, I walked 3 miles and came back. Everything was soaking wet. I just took it off, took a shower. Anita's going to walk her dog or take her dog to the dog park. Anita's going to cook healthy meals. I'm not big on eating out. Everybody knows that. Anita's going to take care of herself. And guess what, ladies? Anita's going to do that for Anita. Okay? I'm not doing that for a man. I'm doing that because I want to look in the mirror and feel good about me. So, yeah, we got to do better. We have to do better. Because you're right, Big L, you're right. This one thing I do get on the women about. I said, now, one thing's for sure, black women are going to, their hair, their nails, their makeup, their lashes. But then, like below the neck, it's like, whoa, what's happening? What's happening below the neck? like if we here, we good, right? And then below the neck, it's like, what? What? You couldn't put some time into like below the neck? That's my problem. And I've been on y'all about this. Like you have to holistically, and then, so let's not even talk about the outside. Let's go on the inside, right? Let's go on the inside. Like what is really hurting you? Like what's the wound there? And what can we do to solve it? And how can we do that work and soften? How can we, have a more tender spirit? Right. And hopefully attract men that can hold space for that. Like, because a lot of women say to me, well, no, if I get softer, I'll attract abusive men. I said, no, quite the opposite. Quite the opposite. You'll use that discernment to be able to tell that this isn't a man that can hold space for you being softer or sweeter or more feminine. So, but yeah, do it for yourself. And again, I don't do it for men. I do it for me. So that's what I've been talking to ladies about. I've really been working with them about that. Okay, this generation eats out an average of 20 times a week. The cooking oil and fast food places are killing us. Agreed. That's why I don't like it. I do not like it. I tell people it's rare that I eat out. Rare that I eat out. We ate a meal in here tonight. And look, everybody in here made a different meal. Because like I said, my kids are grown now, so they cook for themselves. But we all ate, made a different meal, sat down, ate it. Like I'm not big on eating out a lot. Yeah.
We got to solve that problem. I know that we're in the ripping and the running. We're working 2 jobs and all this kind of stuff, but that stuff is killing us.
It is.
It's killing us collectively. It's killing us individually. I mean, we got to. When you look at COVID, what that did. The reason that COVID was so devastating within the Black community was because of the comorbidity problem. That's what it was.
Yep.
If you got diabetes and you catch COVID, well, now you're going out. Yep. I mean, that's what it is. So we got to solve that. We got to talk about it all the time. Anytime I give a talk or anything, I always end up all my talks with, listen, we got to do something about it. Right. We got to do something about it. It is killing us slowly. It's killing us financially with us running to the doctors and these medications and all this kind of stuff. So we really got to do something.
Yep. Okay, so is modern day dating broken? What can we get? What can we do? So I ask this question all the time, and I answer this question. What can we do to get back to what I call heart-centered dating, authentic, intentional dating?
Yeah, man, that's a tough one because as we talked about before, the cell phones, the apps. I think it is definitely broken to say the least, but I can't see a quick fix that's going to come. I wish I could say that. I mean, talking like this, having conversations, doing it individually, but as a collective, I mean, I can't get people in Minnesota to put their phones down. I can't get people to put their phones down in Atlanta. I mean, I think it's really, really destructive. And I'd like to come up with a plan. I wish I had one for you. I wish I could figure this out. But this phone that we're talking on, it's become such a part of our lives. Yeah. I mean, we get on airplanes with them, right? I don't even carry cash. I just use my swipe on my phone to pay everything. So then it gives us access, and sometimes when we get lonely, we can go on these different apps or look at our DMs and see who's DMing us and just try to get validation. Yep. So this is a big problem, right? This dopamine hits or whatever that we're getting in this from these things is a big problem, and I think that we got to try to solve it. What we're going to do in the midterm, in the short term, is just keep talking about it. Is just keep talking about how we can fix it. Let you know that your standards are delusional. If you run into, and I really do appreciate your platform. I'm not just saying that because I think that ladies are really the gatekeepers of this. And somebody wrote in the comments before I was reading that they started. Yes. They and you said that, and I agree with it. You all started it with this feminist ideas about sleeping around and the hookup culture and free sex, and I can just DM you tonight, and situationships, and I don't gotta give you no. You all started that. You all started that, and it's gonna take you all to end it. And the only way for this to end and to change is to say, listen, we're gonna keep our bodies to ourselves, and if you want something else, you gotta invest time, energy, and resources, time and energy, especially into getting to know me and what my heart and desires are. But if you're gonna keep giving it away. Lady Kendra G, who does something like this. I don't know if you know who Kendra G is.
I do.
Kendra G, I've watched 3 of her shows. Now, this is the one I don't watch them. I watch clips. I shouldn't say I watched the whole show. But I watched 3 clips. 3 clips in which people were on her show, and you could see a guy walking in the background. It's like, oh, it's just a guy I'm messing with. This guy is clapping. This guy's clapping the cheek, and you on the show. This is the mentality, and so brazen about it. Just walking in the background, just I'm looking for a nice guy. He's gonna do this. He's got to do this, that, and the other for me. But the guy that you had who's making a sandwich in the background don't got to do none of that. So this pookieism culture that we got going on of men not living up to the standards. They don't have. Why should I live up to the standards when I can just just sit around playing PlayStation and smoking weed all day, and you gonna call me up at 10 o'clock at night when your kids go to bed, and I can come over there and chill out.
Right. So y'all already know. Y'all already know what I'm about to say. Okay? You already know that. That's why I tell women I believe in slut shaming. I can't tell you how many liberal feminist women come for me. Please come for me. Come for me and call me slut shaming. Because you darn right. Historically, women have slut shamed other women. Why? Because that behavior hurts all women. Okay? I'm out here now, can't find my husband because guess what? My husband, like you said, he's on a dopamine high with pornography and OnlyFans and girls in his DMs and all this other stuff. He has an abundance of sexual options instead of, you know what? I don't know. It's between this woman and Anita. Like that's gone. He has an abundance of sexual options. So now him, trying to get to know Anita and going out walking at night or taking our dogs to the dog park or getting ice cream, like, hey, what that mouth do? What that mouth do, Anita? What? Like it's insane. It's insane. So ladies, it is up to us. I've told y'all this. I've told y'all. Close the shop. Okay? Have some self-respect, have some self-worth, and close the shop. But that's a true story. Like I said, these men, man,
I believe it.
Like, here we go. Like, seriously, sir? Like, really? Come on now. But like you said,
listen, I've heard the stories. I've heard the stories.
Yeah.
I've heard it.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. It works.
So, yep.
It works.
Yep.
It absolutely works. That's the problem, that it works. I have some stories.
Yeah.
but it works.
It does.
It works. And it
does.
And it really it's really disappointing because those types of people, the ladies who go for that, will never get what they want in the long term. They'll get their needs met for a night,
short term,
but they won't get.
Yep.
Or shorter, right? A couple of hours. But they're never going to get what they want, and you're right. It's hurting all women. It's hurting all women.
It is. So evolving.
And it's making them.
Yeah, no, I agree. Evolving Lulu 74 says, I had an older woman try to shame me because I don't randomly have sex with strange men when I go on vacation. Oh, Lord. Oh, gosh. Yeah.
I just saw that video. I don't know if you probably saw it. It was like a reminder of the video of the woman who was in Jamaica, and she was shaming the guys on the boats because they would, take them out and do whatever. She's like, you don't eat peas, so you're not going to get a green card.
Oh,
you never saw that one?
No, I did not. Oh my God.
You want a green. She's young. You want a green card? You got to eat some pee. Listen. We got to go to a different spot.
Oh my
She was a
God.
gorgeous woman too. Gorgeous.
Mm,
I'm like, there's no way that you can't get attention in the States. You got to come down here to do this. But
yeah. Wow.
yeah. So
I can't. I can't. I just can't. And again, y'all, I don't know what's happening. I don't know why we are so focused on the short term. Why are we so focused on gratifying our flesh as opposed to building something long term? Long term. I always tell younger women, baby, I want you to go after his heart. I want you to get his devotion. Because once you have that, everything else that he has is yours. But what do? They go after his wallet. That's for tonight. That's for tomorrow. That's not for 20 years from now. So go after his heart. That's once you have a man's heart, like, yeah, he'll do anything. But this idea of, well, send me money for nails, or, take me to this fancy place. Okay, and it'll last a couple days, a couple weeks, and then what? And so maybe they think, okay, on to the next. But again, this is what I want you all to know psychologically about human beings. The reason why people are broken today is we are not designed for all these short-term relationships. These short-term relationships are destroying us. These people who have body counts in the hundreds are done. Like, they're done. Their system, their brain and their system is fried. It's fried. We're not built to do that. And we're going to see in 10 or 15 years what the outcome of all this is going to be. It's really sad. Yeah, really, really sad. So no. Okay, Garland Stillwell says a lot of ADHD conditioned young adults untreated. Could be. It very well could be. M Rios 0413 says you're absolutely correct. Even when you just try to say hello to a guy, the first thing they do is make an indecent proposal. Oh wow.
glad you read that, because that can be fixed. That can be fixed by women just comporting themselves as ladies.
Right.
That can be fixed. I mean, listen, you're always going to have monstrous guys who are going to try, but you can fix that by just ignoring them and turning around saying, listen, you're going to talk to me like a lady. And if it didn't work, this is the problem. It works for if he hollers at 100 ladies and 10 of them respond positively, well, that's positive reinforcement for him. And he's going to continue to do it because he gets it. So he needs to only have, out of the 101, and that one be really, really undesirable.
Right.
And then he'll stop doing it. And that will begin to retrain men into, listen, I got to be a woman. I got to be a lady when I approach these ladies. I got to be a man when I approach these ladies in order to get them to act, or especially the ones that I want. Especially the ones that I want. And so this is a big problem. I admit that there's a lot of guys out there. And Kevin Samuels used to say, he used to talk about, women should smile at men. I disagree with that. I disagree with that, because I know that men can be monsters.
Right.
I don't want my daughter smiling at every dude that walks around the street, because they're going to think that it's an open invitation. So just behave like a lady, and of course I say to the men, act like a gentleman, right? Be kind. But it works. It works. It works.
Wow. Okay. Right. Okay, Brianne Nicole says, even the women who aren't loose get the same treatment. And see, that's why, Brianne, I believe in slut shaming, because women have got to check women. Like, we've got to check women and say, what are you doing? Why are you, participating in hookup culture? Why are you dressed that way? You are sending a message that will trickle down for all of us. Like, seriously, there's a self-worth problem. There's a self-esteem problem. Because I'm not going to lie. Everybody know this about me. The day that ring go on my finger, right? The day that ring go on my finger, and me and my husband, we heading to Bora Bora to one of them little huts over the water. And look, I got the music planned out. I got the whole scene planned out. Okay, I got the whole thing. That's when he gonna be like, I made a good investment. Like I hit the jackpot. Like I hit the lottery. Okay, he not gonna get no glimpses before then. He not gonna get no I want you to feel like you made a great investment, right? That's how it should feel. I made a good investment in this. This is fabulous. But instead, y'all doing it the opposite way. You showing him everything and giving him everything and doing everything. And so he's like, why invest? Like, why would I invest? Y'all doing everything. So, ladies, I've told you this
That's
before. I'm going to keep telling you. Stop doing all that. Like, that's why you're not getting what it is you say you want. Okay? So, no. Stop. Stop it. Okay, let's see. What about men? Hi, what about men that is my guy friend but knows my past because he knows my past, but how do I tell him my past is my past? I'm saved now, so take me as a new person now. Are you trying to date your friend or is it a romantic interest? That's my question. Is it a romantic interest? And why would your past come up? Right? Why would your past come up in conversation? Is your past, like, is your past really serious? Like, what what did you do in your past? That's my question. Yeah.
I would ask the same question. Yeah.
Yeah.
What does he know?
Yeah.
And if it's too much, then
Yeah. Because
yeah.
if it's concerning
Men,
you,
men,
then it's concerning me.
men are very much caught up on a woman's past. You know, just like a woman is very much concerned about a man's future, how much money he's going to make, where we're going to go, what house we're going to live in, what type of life we're going to live. A man wants to know about your past, and he doesn't want to walk through the mall or the
Right.
park and know that you've been with everyone.
Yeah.
And it can be an indicator of how you're going to behave in the future. If you're very, very loose in the past, and you have, a wide variety of men, and we have an argument where and you go up calling one of your exes, that is fear for a man,
Right.
and
Okay.
rightfully so. So your past matters, and a lot of people this feminist ideology that tells you your past doesn't
Yeah.
matter needs to take it matters.
Yes, it
And I
does.
talk to every young woman I talk to. I tell them, listen, you got to watch it with these
Yeah.
high body counts, not just because of the connections that you make and the soul ties that people can create. But a man is very much concerned about how loose you
Right.
are, and if you're going to give his goods to someone else. He's concerned about
Right. Okay, she responded, he knows my past because he's my guy friend. So now you're interested in dating him romantically? Are you interested? Because she said, do they get over it? Um, if you're
that. No,
interested in dating him romantically, depending on what that past is, I would tread lightly. Me personally, I don't see myself dating any of my guy friends. Like if I told them all my dirt and then now I want to date him romantically, that I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. Right? I want to be seen in the eyes of my man as someone who's virtuous, someone who's modest and virtuous. So you're taking a chance. You're taking a chance because you can get in a romantic relationship and something you've done, heaven forbid, that get used against you. So you're taking a chance. You're taking a chance on that one.
I'm just curious. Was this one of the guys that was in the friend zone where she had fun and did whatever? And now she wants
Right.
to. I
I
don't.
get curious.
I don't
Yeah.
recommend that for the.
Right. Right.
I don't recommend that for the guy. But
Okay.
whatever.
And then Brianne Nicole says, why don't men take women on dates anymore? I'm 25 and have never been on a date. They just ask, come over and chill. They get blocked the same day. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So men don't take women. That's a good question. Men don't take women on dates anymore because they don't see the juice being worth the squeeze. They don't see an investment, particularly what we just talked about. Let's take a look at hookup culture, where
Right.
exactly what happens. What we talk about. You can slide to somebody's DMs. You can get flown out to Atlanta to meet some guy, and you're going to give up the cookies, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so this other person doesn't have to do this type of investment. I call it, or I think I got it from Kevin Samuels or somebody, the 12 to
Yeah.
5 guy, where you call this guy up at midnight and he's gone by 5 a.m., right? So I was told by a woman that every woman has a man like that. So you want a nice guy who's potentially husband material to invest in you, time, first dates, taking you out on dates, and then potentially you have somebody else who's dealing with you at night. Men are not gonna want to deal with that. Another reason that men aren't willing to date is because how many other people are you dating? How many other people are taking you out on the first date? If I'm going to invest in you, if I'm going to take you out, I want to know that I have your full undivided attention. That's the type of person I am. And I think that even though we're trying to condition men to be differently, I think that's the vast majority. That's the vast majority of the way that men think. So if you really want a guy's attention, you're going to have to really recognize that. So, and what does he get for that, right? What is at the end of the rainbow? Is it a relationship? Is it a one-night stand? And what are you going to deposit into his life? So I think that men are looking at a range of ideas. What is the future of this? What do you offer me? I'm taking you out for dinner, and maybe we can build a relationship. But what do you actually give to me? And you ask a lot of ladies that, what do you give to a man as far as relationship? Well, I am the table. I am this, right? He gets my presence. Okay, you know, that is insufficient. So men are looking at a range of different things, from what he's going to get to, are you dealing with anyone else? Are you sleeping with anyone else? And all that. So I think that those are just some of the options that are going on in a man's mind.
And Brianne Nicole, you got to remember that, you know, I have a really good friend of mine, a male friend who, you know, is out there dating. And he said to me recently, because he showed me his dating app, right? And so I know men have it as, they have it just as bad as women, because I've been telling women this more and more. Men have it just as bad as us, right? So I'm looking through the dating app. He says, yeah, I want you to, I want you to go in there and swipe. If you see anyone that you know would be good for me, I actually want you to respond. Like, I want you to reach out to that person. You say whatever you would say if you were me. I swiped on 100 women. I sent 2 women messages. That was a week ago. So he got 0 matches, because 98% of those women were unacceptable. And the 2 that I deemed acceptable, I reached out. I was like, hey, I really love, you know, this and that in your photo, and where you are looks so peaceful. Where is it? Or, hey, my name's so-and-so, and I really enjoyed reading about your profile. What's your Myers-Briggs score? Mine is ISFJ. You know, I reached out like a perfect gentleman, and they have not responded.
Yeah, well, that was your mistake right there. You can't reach out as a gentleman. you got to go straight for the gusto. And I did this as an experiment. So I reached out, as I was on a dating app for a long time. Well, not for a long time, a couple of months. And I tried that nice gentlemanly approach. And I said, you know what? I thought I was doing something. So I did a little research. I reached out again to 4 women. 4 women. I said, listen, girl. And I was completely thug. Completely thug. Listen, girl, I know we got something going on. I know you want to hit me up, this, that, and the other. The immediate response to 3 of them was their phone number.
Oh, okay. Okay. So that's what they like.
I'm telling you, this is I'm telling you, this is what they like. This is completely, you're shaking your head. But I'm telling you, this is when I tell you that it works with that mouth doing all this, I'm telling you, it works.
Okay.
And so those are some of the things that, yes, so the women have a plethora of men, right? You reached out to 100 men and whatever, swiping. A woman who sets up a dating app on 8 o'clock in the morning, goes to work, comes back home by 6 o'clock at night, she checks it, she's got, I guarantee you, 150 men.
Wow.
Guarantee you. It's not the same way. And don't be under 6 feet for a guy. You might as well forget it. You might as well forget it. And I don't know about your friend there, but this is where it is for women, because they have so many options, so they don't think that they have to choose. And the last two things that really, I'm getting off. I hit this lady up, talked to her, or hit her up. I'm like, oh, you know, what's going on? How was your day? This, that, and the other. It's fine. Everything is good. How about you? Right? And then I responded. I don't remember what my response was. And then next day, I'm like, hey, you know, what's up? I thought we were going to talk this, that, and the other. She sent the same exact message. copy and paste.
Okay.
So
What?
she had been talking to so many different people that she just forgot where she was. And I'm like, this is too much, right? And then also, I did forget to mention this about the dating thing. Guys are tired of being ghosted. They're tired of taking women out for dates and being ghosted. There's a study done, I think it was 2017 or 2018, no, maybe 2019, still 5 years ago, 2019. 30% of women, 30% of women admit, and I use that word admit, I stress that word admit, to going out on dates just for free food. So I'm going to take you out, and that's what those are the ones that admit doing. How many others are just doing? Right? And so they're tired of that, right? So they're tired of that. They're tired of having conversations screenshot and put on blast for all social media to laugh at. Guys are sick of that. They're sick of it.
Okay. Last question. What role should the older generation play in having more of a positive influence on the culture?
The role should be to be the aunties and uncles that we need to talk to us, to put us on game, to teach us to be kind, teach us how the game works, and to be well-adjusted human beings. And that is the advice that I'm going to give. That's the advice I'm going to portray to the younger generation. I think it's unfortunate that the way is going, but we have to adjust to the way that the world is. We can try to make some adjustments to the way that we want it to be, but you got to understand the way that the world is. So what I mean by that is we just talked about the way that men are not dating. And I can't tell a man to go on a date knowing the current climate that's going on. I think it's unfair for me to say, yeah, go out there, just keep doing it. And that's what older people would tell me, or people who are married would tell me, listen, you got to, right, if you don't go out on a limb, you won't get the fruit. You got to keep trying. No. I'm actually in agreement with the checking out type of thing. I'm actually in agreement with it. And I say that as a man who has a son who I want to get married, and as a man who has a daughter who wants, it's the same thing. But I cannot tell my son who's in his mid-20s to go out there and continue to throw good money after bad, getting ghosted, putting himself through the ringer, and destroying his self-esteem, throwing money away, wasting his time and efforts for people who are unappreciative. So I think it's up to us to tell men to be the best versions of themselves. And that's really what my platform is about, becoming the best version of yourself and moving accordingly in the world that we live. Be kind, be strong, get your education, build yourself up, be the best version of yourself, eat right, get in the gym, and make yourself the best version of yourself. And hopefully, and I've said it to men and women, and hopefully the right person will come along. If not, go to a place that's going to be more palatable to what you are looking for in a mate.
Okay. Evolving Lulu 74 says men are the leaders. They need to stop choosing women who they know don't really like them. And I have actually spoken on that before. I got an influx of male clients last year. It actually, like I said, it surprises me, but I got an influx of male coaching clients and I got an influx of male counseling clients. And one of the things they all collectively say about me and how I work with men is, number one, I want men to be sexually disciplined. I think once a man can have utter and complete control over his sexuality and over his fertility, I think that's a superpower. That's a man's superpower. A man who can present himself to a woman and not lead with, I'm trying to get some tail, right? Most women don't know what to do with a man like that. Like, no, I'm not here for any tail. What else you got? You got anything else? Got anything else of value? I also teach men how to plug back into their gut instinct. A lot of men, just like a lot of women, they are no longer spiritually connected to their body. They don't know how to use their gut instinct. They don't know how to trust that small little voice inside of them that says, this person isn't good for me. Like, this person isn't good for me. She's a very attractive woman. She's a sexy woman. There's something very attractive about her. However, that small still voice is telling me she's not good for me, or she's not into me. A man has to listen to that, and then he has to move on. A man has to be quick to cut his losses. And I don't see that enough. I see men, try to convince a woman. I see men stay much longer with a woman than they should. And I say, you got to cut it off. You got to cut it off. As soon as you get that feeling in your gut, like, cut it off, walk away. I said, I know that's not naturally in you to do that, to burn bridges, but I think men need to do that more. And then, as I always tell, my divorce guys, I say, you all have got to do the healing work, and energetically, this thing called confirmation bias. So what you think is out there is what you're going to be shown, right? Okay, perfect example. So that same friend, he said, yeah, I really don't want a woman with all the tattoos, but that's just what the culture is. That's what people are doing. I said, that's funny you say that, because I can't tell you the last man I dated with a bunch of tattoos. Like, I don't like it, and I don't tolerate it. I don't accept it. But I also don't lead with that thinking. I lead with the thinking of, just like I have this little small tattoo. That's the only tattoo I have, and I regret that. That's it, right? I lead with this idea of, I'm looking for a man that's not covered in tattoos, and I know those men exist. And because that's what I expect, that's what I get back. So I have to explain that to men, that if you're leading with this, women use men. Women are, fill in the blank. Women wear wigs, women wear weaves. I said, okay, if you keep saying that, that's what's going to meet you. So if you want a woman that has her natural hair, that doesn't have nails, or just, has regular nails, doesn't have lashes, you have to lead with what you want. And that is what will be shown to you. Okay, so I told him the same thing. Stop looking at all these women's wigs. Okay, disqualified. Like, that's what you should think about a woman wearing a wig, because that's his thing too. He doesn't like wigs. She's disqualified. Like, she's disqualified. That's it. That's all the energy you have to give her. And then you say to yourself, my perfect woman, she has her own hair. She takes care of her own hair, whatever that hair is. It could be long, it could be short. But see, when he started doing that, then that was reflected back to him. So I said, see, it works. That's how energy works. That's how everything in the universe works. You've got to lead with what you want to see. And sometimes I'm even delusional. I'm like, yeah, this is the type of person I want. This is what they're like. And I keep putting that out, and eventually that gets mirrored back. So that's what I teach men how to do as well. Now, you have to be in a healed state to do that. If you've been hurt, if you've been broken, if you've been taken advantage of, you're going to, again, you're a mirror. You're going to put that out, and that's what's going to come back. But you've got to say, yes, this woman that I married, she did me dirty. She did me wrong, and that sucks. And if I'm going to find myself in love with another woman, it won't be that woman, right? It won't be that woman. But I am going to project something different, because I need to have something different come back. So that's like a spiritual higher woo-woo thing that I talk to people about all the time. But I told him, I said, yeah, if you keep leading with all women have tattoos, that's all that will come back. But I don't lead with that. I'm like, nope, I don't date men with a whole lot of tattoos, their neck, their face. I don't date men with tattoos. And so that's what presents itself to me. I find that interesting. So I was telling him that, and he was like, yeah, you're right. You don't. I was like, no, because I don't care that all these people have tattoos. That's not something I want. I'm not interested in that. And so that's what I lead with. And then that's what comes back. So that's what I encourage people to do. You have got to start putting out what it is you want and rejecting everything that is not that. That's what I do. And that's 98% is it gets rejected. It just gets rejected. Oh, this isn't what I want. So that's what I encourage people to do. And that's one of my solutions to break the cycle is we got to start rejecting. So reject the women you don't want. This is what I tell the men. Loud, fake hair, fake nail, whatever you don't want, just reject it. Just reject it and say, nope. I want soft and sweet. I want, someone who's not covered in tattoos. I want someone with their own hair. I want someone with a beautiful smile. Start putting that energy out there and watch what happens. You'll start seeing that. You start catching glimpses of that everywhere you go. So that's what I want people
I like
to do. Yep.
I like the idea of going after people that like you, right? So sometimes people will stick around people who aren't good for them because they like them so much, right?
Yeah.
She's got a big butt, she's got whatever's going on.
Yep.
But when somebody likes you just as much, and that can be
Yes.
difficult because guys, well, they don't have a type. You know, I like this red bone or whatever they like, and
Yep.
they tend to stick with that. But if you can exercise what you said, the sexual discipline,
Right.
and you
That's
can
a
really control
superpower.
yourself,
That is a
yeah,
superpower for men, and there's just no getting around
that's
it.
really great.
And I try to validate men. I say, hey, I get it. You have 30 times more testosterone than a woman. You're gonna think about sex. So the statistic says men think about sex once every 15 minutes. You know, most women, that's not the case. We got other things on our mind. But I want you to
Once.
find other ways to like figure out how to manage that. How do you manage that, right? Whether it's through your workout, whether it's through, my friend right now is doing boxing and jujitsu. He's like, yeah, that's how I'm working out. I was like, good. Like, figure out how to master that, because if you don't, it will master you, and it'll put you in these situations where you're tolerating things that you shouldn't be tolerating. And look, y'all know what I always say. So that's about 30, 45 minutes out of the day. Okay, so if she fine and she got a fat behind and she got some big old itties, that's about 45 minutes out of the day. What are you gonna do with the other 23 hours? What you gonna do with the other 23 hours? So she gonna be getting on your nerves, and then for 45 minutes, maybe an hour, you'll have fun. Like, see, we have to start thinking again, not just that hour. What do you do with her the other 23 hours?
That's an important concept. I had a friend who was going to marry this woman.
Mm-hmm.
That was the only thing he liked about her was her bedroom fun, but everything else he couldn't stand about her. So, but again,
Did they marry? Did it last?
no. He finally was able to be talked out of it and
Yeah.
really kind of came to himself. But yeah, it was a trying time for him, and I can definitely listen. I can see how it goes. Being a little bit older now, I'm in my 50s now, right? I remember being on the drug, that
Yeah.
testosterone, you know.
It's a hell
So
of a drug. It's a hell of a drug. I know. So, like I said, I try to validate them, right? I'm not talking like, oh, what's your problem? No, I get it. I get it. I get it. I'm not a man, but I understand. So I'm like, okay, but how can we transmutate? There's such a thing as, like, we can transmute that sexual energy, right? We can transmute that sexual energy. So that's what I encourage them to do. Try to see if you can do that. And I hope that as men get older, it gets easier to do. So that's all. Okay. Brianne Nicole says men can actually pick the women they want. Women can only choose from the men that approach them. Well, understand this,
yeah,
Brianne.
I don't know about that. I don't know
Yeah,
about that.
even if a man chooses a woman, she has to choose him back.
She's got to choose them back.
Right.
And men, as you mentioned, Anita, and that was so important that women will use. I mean, both sexes use each other, but a
Yeah.
woman using a man just for resources, men. That's another thing that men are very, very concerned about, right? Do you really like me for me, or you just want me to buy you a bunch of stuff?
Right.
Because if I get sick or something like that, you're just going to ghost. You're just going to leave.
Yeah.
So men are very cautious about that. So we want to make sure that this woman that I am investing this time and this other 23 hours a day in is really concerned about my health and well-being.
Yep.
And you really want to make sure that this is why it bothers me when this whole cooking, cleaning, feminine thing that women seem to be bucking back against.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more than I don't know how to cook and clean. Cooking and cleaning tells me and demonstrates to me as a man that you care about me and that you care about my health and vitality. And if you don't do those things for me, then that tells me you don't care. That is the way that a woman can show that you care.
Right.
It's more, as you mentioned, it's more than the bedroom fun. But do you really care about? Are you going to cook for me? Make sure I'm nourished to go out there and handle the world.
Yep.
That is very, very, very important. And when you don't do those types of things, you're a man can be setting himself up for for trouble. And so I think that women really got to understand, talk about a man's superpower, that's a woman's superpower.
Right.
Because you know, as you said before, if you get his heart, you get a man's heart and way, and it was always, but back in the days, the way to a man's heart was through his stomach. That was always preached.
Right.
And so that's not preached anymore.
Nope.
So you're not getting his heart, you're getting his wallet.
Yeah.
And when the money dries up and other things else dried up, so now men are being more selfish, more concerned. Do you really care about me? Are you really going to take care of me? You're going to cook for me. You're going to take care of my home, my house. That's what it is, what a man is looking for.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. He said a woman's dirty kitchen is a red flag. I agree. A woman's dirty anything. A woman's dirty anything is a red flag. Okay. So, okay. She said, I cook and clean. Okay, good. Good. But
you're halfway there.
Yeah. And this is what I've been telling ladies. So ladies, you're going to abstain, right? I put y'all on a new challenge. Just yesterday, I told you 30 days. You're going to go 30 days without touching, kissing. You're not going to have sex with a man. You are simply going to talk on the phone. You're going to go out and do things. You're going to text. You're going to FaceTime. And remember, those things you're going to do, they're not going to be any high post things, any like super expensive things, but you are going to spend 30 quality days getting to know the man. Okay. And there will be no hanky panky. The man doesn't have to spend a whole lot of money. You are literally just going to, in your raw, unadulterated state, get to know each other. And if after those 30 days, you both decide like, wow, I really like this person. I really like what they're talking about. We have similar values or morals or whatever. Okay, then we can, over the next 30 days, maybe we can step up a little. Maybe he can get a little peck at the door. Maybe he'll take you out to a lunch. Like maybe we can, like, I don't see people progressing. That's what I don't see. Do you know I had a client and, oh, he gonna get me. He gonna get me if he hear this. I had a client, I kid y'all not. The first day he took a woman on was to a cruise. That was the first date. They went on a cruise for 3 days to the Bahamas. And I said, fool, how you going, what? How you going, what? So that's
understand what that
baseline. That's the baseline you just said.
And he sets it for everyone.
Right.
Men who do that, you set the tone for everyone. She goes back to her office, to her cousins, to her family, to her friends, to her Facebook group, and says, "This is what a man did for me in the first date." Now everybody wants that. Everybody wants that, and this is why I said that this is why the Cheesecake Factory was no longer good. The chain restaurants, you can't take me on a coffee date. It's because of people like that who are messing everything up. You're messing it up for everybody. Stop taking these women on these expensive dates. You don't know these people. Stop taking them out for $100 and $250, $300 dinners. Stop taking. Listen, a nice game of mini golf where you can pay $20 and we can get to know each other is fine and plenty.
That's it. That's it.
Not with this extravagant. I gotta book a trip to.
Yep. I dug into him so bad. I said, "You did what?" I was like, "What in Sam Hill? What did you do?" I was like, "What?"
Yeah. Again, this causes the men to filter. This causes the women to filter through who on a dating app. Who's gonna do the most for me? And so this guy wants to take me to a coffee date at Starbucks, and he wants to take me to whatever. Who's she gonna go with?
Exactly.
She's gonna stop talking to the guy who's probably a nicer guy, probably gonna do right by her, try to get to know her.
So you know what I told him?
I'm mad at your friend. I'm mad at your friend now.
But I said this. I said, guess what? So I gave him the challenge. I said, so for the next 30 days, you all will be talking on the phone. You'll be texting. You'll be walking in the park. You'll be whatever. You're not doing any of that. And we're going to see. And if she says, well, why are we doing this? And why are we going here? That's the answer. That's your answer of, does she really like you, or does she like what you do for her? So I told him, I said, yep, this mess ends right now. You shouldn't have told me that. I was like, nah. And if she questioned it, like if she questioned why it's not happening, that's telling you something. No, well, you know what? I just thought we'd take the next month to just, get to know each other. Like just talk and just Get to know, yeah. And if that's not okay, that's your answer. But I couldn't believe it. I was like, I'm sorry, you did what? Well, we had been talking for a couple weeks, and I was going to head out to the Bahamas, and I said, well, what the heck? So I just invited her. That's the first date? I said, no,
So
no. You done
this is
messed it up.
this is why we need strong men to say to the men as well, don't do that.
I
Because
know.
men, I know men. I don't want to. I'm gonna try to put this nice because I have friends who might listen.
Yeah.
But I know men who bought women gifts, and then then a woman ends up pregnant by someone. So you think that you can buy love,
No.
attention, affection,
No.
and men again, they get used and they get
Yes.
played, and
Yes. Yes.
it's really disappointing. I'm not, we don't want to embarrass our friends and all that.
Right. Right.
But
But yes. So and for the gentleman, so that's what I.
why,
Yep.
and this
That's
is
why I tell the
why
ladies
we
to
need to have
abstain.
these conversations.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we need to have these conversations because this is going on.
Yeah.
And unless somebody speaks up and says, listen, this is a problem, and you should not, any man out there who's ever going to listen to this should know, don't ever take a woman on a cruise or out of state or for a first date. Listen,
Yeah.
and any woman who doesn't want to go to a restaurant for a first date
Mm-hmm.
should be disqualified.
That's
You
it.
got to have the abundance mindset that
That's
says,
it.
I'm better than you.
Yeah.
If you don't want to go, somebody else is going to go.
That's it.
We got to develop it. And men have not had that.
Right.
We're so used to not getting swiped on,
Right.
not being selected, nobody smiling at us in the grocery store. We're so used to that any woman who shows us attention, we're all in. Oh, okay, I got to go all out to make right.
Yep.
Oh, relax. Relax.
Yeah.
No,
I agree with you. So, gentlemen, I do not want you leading with your wallet. I want you to reveal your character. I want you to reveal your personality. I want you to be a great conversationalist, right? And I want you to think of things that you all could do that are free or darn near free, but they require a time investment, right? So that's what I tell men, a time investment. You're not going to invest a whole lot of money, but you're going to invest a little bit of time. And women, I want you to abstain. I want you to keep your body parts to yourself. And I want you to display the best version of you, display your character, display your personality, display your conversation skills, and just be y'all and see if the raw form of y'all gets along. That's it. Does who y'all are, do you like each other? And you don't have to spend a lot of money or a whole lot of time doing that. So, yeah, that's what I want to see people do. And get back to that. And like you said, let's say a gentleman on here is listening and he says, well, Anita, I tried to invite her out to, just have ice cream after dinner. And she said no, that she was worth more than that. Okay, just like you said, move on. Move on. Don't feel like
move on.
That's it. And I tell
You
people that.
You got to be strong enough. Men have to be strong enough. You have to hold the line and say, this is it.
Yeah.
This is it. Either coffee or ice cream or nothing.
Yeah.
And you have to hold the line. I mean, maybe if you talk for maybe 2 weeks and really, really digging her, okay, maybe go to a restaurant or take her to mini golf or something like that. That's I don't have any problem with that. But these extravagant, this is where I got to go and you got to pay for my hair and makeup and nails and buy my kid dinner and babysitter and Uber this and Uber.
Yeah. So that's all. That's it. All right. Let's see. We got any more comments that I want to mention? Okay. No, I think we're good. I just want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. I appreciate you all. Thank you to Big L for coming on and for talking with us. I really appreciate it. Tell us again your platform so people can run over there and follow you on Instagram and follow you on YouTube.
Sure. Can I ask a question before I do that?
Yeah.
Okay. So a friend of mine wanted me to ask this question. So I know that you're pushing for. I know that you're very much pushing for marriage. Can you give the men a good reason to get married, considering the dating scene, considering the laws, divorce court laws, etc.? Can you give the men a good reason to get married in 2024 and 2025?
My reason is always going to be spiritual. So if they're not spiritual, it isn't going to matter. So I have to preface it by saying that the number one reason is to be obedient to God. My reason is spiritual. So I'm going to be frank with you. Most men are not going to, they don't care about that. They don't care about the spiritual benefits of being married and being obedient and doing things God's way. But, you know, I've already told people I'm ordained. I'm doing this because I'm ordained to do it. And that's the number one reason. Is I know men, and the Bible is very clear that if a man has lust in his heart, if his loins are on fire, then he is to find his own wife and he is to quench his lust in his wife's bosom. Okay, so that's most of the men I know. Most of the men I know, their loins are on fire. They have lust in their heart, and that means they need to have a wife of their own. They need to have a good woman. So it's not just about sex. They need to also, within that woman, have someone who's down for their purpose, someone who's supportive, someone who's loving, someone who's funny, someone who's just a great conversationalist, someone who enjoys doing things together with them, someone that they can be teammates together, right? And at the same time, they can fulfill their lustful desires with each other, and they can stay safe out here in a world where there are diseases, there's unwanted pregnancy, there's like all these other things that when you don't have a wife of your own, you're taking a chance. Like, you're taking a chance. Can I keep it real? My daddy is 82. My daddy have a 17-year-old son. Okay? So my daddy like, hey, everything still work. And I'ma still use it. And guess what? He messing around with somebody younger and got that person pregnant. Okay? So this is what worries me about men in their 50s. Men in their 50s, especially the friends I have, they're out here, they're with a bunch of women, or they're having casual sex with maybe one person. But if that woman is younger, if she's within childbearing years, bam, you got a baby and you're 52, you're 53, you're 55. So, you know, it will behoove you, you know, to be married, to be married to a good woman, to be married to a woman that you all can take care of each other as you get older. It's all fun and games until you got to be picked up from the colonoscopy. Okay? You're going to need somebody to pick you up from the colonoscopy. Okay? And I would like to think that's going to be your wife. All right? So find a good wife. That's the key. Not just anybody. Find a good wife. And you and that wife should share values. You should share morals. You should want the same thing out of life. You should have the same goals. Like, and then do life with that person. Do life with that person. And me personally, I know plenty of people who are in great marriages and everything in their life is great. Their health is great. Their money is good. Like, everything is great. So that's what I'm looking to do. I'm looking to double what it is I'm doing. I'm doing great, and I'm looking for somebody else doing great, and right, bam, we just double what we doing, right? That's me personally. But the number one reason is spiritual. So if you're not that guy, you're not going to hear that. You're not going to hear that part. That you're just going to think, oh, but the divorce laws. Okay, there are legal things you can do to protect yourself if you really feel that way. But statistically, it's been proven that people who are believers, they're believers in a religion or a religious practice, people who pray together, people who attend church together, people who read the Bible together. These people, their divorce rate is at like 20% or 19%. And so you do what you need to do to lower the divorce rate. You choose well, and then you get in the marriage and you do well. That's the formula. That's it. And again, I have no problem with prenups. I have no problem with signing any sort of legal document that protects your assets, or especially now, because, right, I have 3 children. I may marry a man who has 3 of his own children. And if he said, well, I want to leave, you know, this money to my children, I would have no problem with that. You're gonna put that in a document, and I'm gonna sign it, and you're gonna sign it, right? So if something happens to you, these assets will go to your children. So I want men to start thinking about that, but I also want them to think about the spiritual ramifications or the spiritual benefits of being married. So that's something to think about. But I'm going to be honest, a lot of men, that's a tough sell. That's a tough sell right now. So, but yeah, I mean, I want to see us win. And the way we do it is by being married. The way we do it is by having strong families. So that would be my reason.
Very good. Thank you for answering.
Okay.
Um,
All of the men unclear on the benefits of marriage, or is it just black men? Uh, yeah.
I
Yeah.
think it's all.
So I just was.
I think all men are concerned about that.
Okay.
I think all men are concerned.
But it's funny because it's just like I'm always talking to men, like my dad, right? I told my dad, I said, hey, if you don't want to have any more kids, you can get a vasectomy. Like I know several men right now who have a vasectomy. And to me, that's called taking the bull by the horns. Like if a man is truly serious about, hey, I don't want to have any more kids, then do what's necessary to not have any more kids. And if he was serious about protecting his assets, do what it takes to protect your assets. That's it. That's it. And the way you do that is, there's legal ways, but you also want to make sure you choose well. So don't just choose anybody. Don't choose anybody. You have to choose well. You have to run her through that vetting process. And what do I talk about? I talk about the 3-point inspection system. So your mama, so it's not just you picking her, it's your mama, is maybe your good female friend, maybe it's a guy friend, or an uncle. Like you got 3 people with eyes on this person, and y'all gonna all collectively come together and you're gonna be like, what you give her? I give her a 7. What you give her? I give her a 2. See, that's what we're not doing anymore. We're choosing people on our own, and we're blind. Most of us are blind to people's foolishness. But you know what? I'll tell you, the last man I dated, he came over for game night. I had 5 people with eyes on that man. That game night was over. We all huddled together. I said, what you think? I said, what you think? What you think? Like, we had our scorecards. They was like, well, and when you asked him that question about this and he said that, I ain't like that answer. Like, I had people weighing in. They was like,
it's important. That's good stuff.
Yep.
It's good stuff.
I was like, and then after that, I was looking at him different, right? We went out the next week. I was like, like he was talking. I was like, okay. Like I was looking at him. Nah, I get people involved. Because again, I get it. If a man reaches this age, you are exactly right. He has everything to lose. Right. So I understand that. And I tell men that, no, you shouldn't have to give a woman half your pension. You shouldn't have to give a woman half your retirement. So yes, you got to do your due diligence. Like you can't afford to play those games. You can't get to 50 something and then lose it all. So I understand what they're saying, because I don't want to do that. Like, I don't want to do that. So I do my due diligence. That's what I'm telling them. And if I need to put some legal things in place, I'm going to do that. I'm going to say, hey, you see this house here? We're not going to live in it. I'm keeping this house as an asset. But if something happens to me, my children are going to get this house. That's what I would do. And I would put it in a document and I would have him sign it and I would sign it. So that's what I want men to think about. Okay? Don't give up on love. Don't give up on marriage. Love has been around for thousands of years. And, it is the way out of the mess that we're in. We have to have strong marriages and we have to have strong families. Okay?
Yeah, I agree. I can tell you about myself now. Okay. So I have a platform on YouTube right now. I need to do more posting on IG. Both of them are Big L PhD, 2 G's and a Big L PhD.
Okay.
Obviously on this platform, it's one Big L PhD 1. I also have another YouTube channel, LMH Consulting Services.
Okay.
So I do police expert testimony. If you're looking for a police expert to maybe go over a court case or anything like that. So those are the 2 main businesses that I do. So also life coaching. So if you're looking for a life coach, if you try to contact Miss Anita, she's too busy. Give me a call. I
Okay.
also do life coaching, trying to set you up on the
Yeah.
right path. Particularly for young men, if you're kind of lost and you
Yes.
need to figure out how to do X, Y, and Z. So,
Yep.
but that's pretty much it.
Okay.
So those are pretty much the two platforms that I'm doing, and I really, really appreciate coming on. I'd like to have you on my platform so I can
Yeah.
be one firing off the second.
For sure, for sure. So I want to see you grow your Instagram. I want to see you get your Instagram up because there's so many folks, Instagram is an easy platform. It's a really easy platform. So I've been encouraging people to take advantage of their Instagram platform. And what I do is like, I built this platform first. Now I'm over on YouTube building that platform. But whatever you have here, you can just post there. That's what's so cool. You can be here, do a live, or you can even shoot a video without going live, and you can download it and post it to your YouTube. So you're not making like double content. I make content
Okay.
and then I just shoot it out to Facebook, shoot it out to Instagram, shoot it out to YouTube, and voila. So I really want to see your Instagram grow because this is actually the platform that I get most of my clients from. Yeah, if you want to do life coaching, this is the perfect platform because there are going to be people here that are like, yeah, I like what you're talking about. Let me see how I can set up a session. Let me see how I can get in touch with you. So that's what I want to see you do. So everyone who's here, please check out his Instagram page. He's going to work on growing it. Okay. But then also go over to YouTube and subscribe to the channel because y'all know it don't cost y'all nothing to subscribe to YouTube. Okay. Everybody in my Instagram need to go over to my YouTube. Y'all are ridiculous. All right. So check out his videos there. I think the latest video you did was about Tyler Perry's movie, which was I give it a 2 thumbs down.
I give it two thumbs and two big toes down. That was just horrible.
Oh my God. I'm
Horrible.
like, why? So yeah, check that video out, y'all. Okay. Thank you so much, Elle. Have an amazing night, everyone. Thank you for joining me. And as always, stay open to love. Good night.